Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the world-famous TCL IMAX Chinese Theater here in the heart of Hollywood. Welcome to everyone watching in IMAX theaters across the country, and welcome to everyone watching around the world on Facebook Live. Those of you in theaters are going to see Disney's Beauty and the Beast in IMAX on the big screen here. And to everyone watching on Facebook Live around the world, we're going to have a very special, intimate conversation with the director and the stars of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Are you ready? Yes, you are! Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Gad, my friend, have a seat. Please welcome the lovely, the talented, the beautiful Emma Watson. Woo! Great to see you. Wait. Just getting started here, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome the Beast himself, the Prince, Dan Stevens. See, first time, right? And, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we would not be here without the director of Beauty and the Beast, Bill Condon. Very good. You like that? See? This is how we roll in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Love it. Okay, well, really the first question here is, there have been so many interpretations of Beauty and the Beast since it goes back to the 18th century in France. But everyone remembers the iconic, the Oscar-nominated Best Picture, 1991 animated feature, Beauty and the Beast. So I want to start by asking, what was your first impression when you first saw that movie?
Well, unlike everybody here, I saw it as a grown-up, and I loved it. It completely spoke to me. I thought it was so funny, and the most of all, oh my God. Is that me?
No.
Okay. It was so unbelievably moving. I always thought the relationship between Belle and the Beast was, spoke as much to an adult audience as it did to children.
And how about you, Josh?
It was a long way to go. I was 10 years old, and I remember I was born in South Florida, and there was a theater called Sheridan 7 in Hollywood, Florida, and I went to go see it with my mom and a bunch of friends. And the image that's seared into my memory is the end of Be Our Guest, the end of Gaston, and the end of Beauty and the Beast. The audience in this dark theater watching animated characters sing break out into applause. And that was such a foreign experience because, watching theater, you see people applaud. But to applaud animated characters who are not going to respond, it was sort of surreal. And that Disney Renaissance, that second golden age of Disney animation, from Little Mermaid to Beauty and the Beast to Aladdin to The Lion King, that defined my childhood. That was the soundtrack of my life. Beauty and the Beast, I keep saying, was my Frozen. That was the movie that it was.
Bold statement, mister.
It was.
That is a bold statement.
I love you too, woman!
All right, Emma Watson is here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the bigger question for you, Emma, is this. I mean, it wasn't just what do you remember about seeing it for the first time? Like, why did Belle just make such an impact on your childhood?
The first time I saw Belle sing Belle Reprise, which is Mike. The first time I saw Belle sing Belle Reprise, which is the song that she sings after Gaston. We would say it was a proposal, but really it was just like she's gonna marry me. And she just sings this song, which is the I Want song of all I Want songs. I mean, it's like the kind of indignation and sort of quiet fury that she feels that people won't let her be the fullest version of herself, that they won't let her be whole. God, I'm getting emotional talking about this today. It really, like, it struck this chord and it never left me. And this role for me was just, she is a sacred part of my childhood and my understanding of what it is to be a woman and what my future might look like, and so many things, and what love was, seeing beyond something superficial, seeing into someone, and I just, and the chance to actually play her as an adult was just like, wow.
Yeah, wow.
So cool. So yeah, it's pretty major for me, as you can probably tell by how emotional I just got. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's been pretty cool.
Okay, now Dan. Dan, how about you?
I don't remember the first time. I think mine's working.
Yeah, here, I'll take the mic.
I can double up.
Yeah, it's for you.
There we go.
Okay, it's yours.
I think I was about 8 when it came out, and I just remember it very, very quickly just seeped into the cultural consciousness of my generation. And I remember boys and girls being really into it. I've got a... Is that... Yeah, no. Oh, it's yours. I thought someone had thrown that at me.
All improv. This is not planned,
like...
ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Dan.
No, there's a friend of mine he's now in his mid-30s, and for him, Belle was his great Disney heroine, and he was a boy who grew up in a small village in the west of England, just dreaming of the great white somewhere, and just, and I think there is something in it.
You're talking about Luke Evans, aren't you? Right?
In the Welsh Valleys.
Yeah, the Welsh Valleys.
But no, I think there's something universal in the appeal of Belle as a heroine, and I think there's something universal in the appeal of Beast as well. That the idea that somebody so monstrous and sort of horrific could actually be sweet and silly and funny as well.
So now we're at the point where you have the opportunity, Bill, to bring it to life on the big screen, right. Live action. Now, was this something that you just thought, yes, let's do this, or was there a little bit of hesitation?
There was a moment of hesitation, and what really convinced me was the thought that somebody else might get to do it.
Oh.
And I'd have to watch somebody else's version. That would drive me crazy, Yeah, but it was, and then I immediately got excited by it, because that meant it was a completely different medium, which meant it could be a completely new movie. Obviously done with great reverence for the original, but for all of us, as everyone became involved, it started with real conversation about who is Belle in the real world, and also who is the Belle who would resonate in 2017, So that became a way to take this, use it as a springboard, and create something new.
See, because the challenge is to not only really stay pure to everything that the original film represented, but to expand upon it, to make it relevant for today, to make Belle different, to make her more modern in some ways. So Emma, what were some of the ways that you decided, okay, in these ways I'm going to keep Belle like she was, but in these ways I'm going to bring her up until 2017? Actually, you don't need that.
I don't need it anymore?
No, you don't need it anymore.
Okay, great. So, I mean, it was, as we were filling out... You think I need it? Okay.
You need it. You need it.
I think as we were filling out the story, and we were filling out Belle's backstory and thinking about, okay, what happened to her mother, a few different things. It was very important to me that Belle had a vocation, and Kevin Kline, who plays my father Maurice, had kind of decided that he was going to take Maurice in a bit of a different direction. He wasn't going to be crazy old Maurice. He was going to be this painter, essentially. And I was like, that inventor thing, that would be really cool for Belle. And so, Bill and I were passionate about this storyline, that she creates this washing machine in order that she then has more time to read for herself And actually in our story that she becomes an activist in her own community and tries to teach other girls to read. So that was very important for me. I think there were little things as well from the original, which is more just about taking an animation and making it into a movie, which was, you know, there were beautiful sketches when I first saw Belle's costumes of her in these like silk ballet shoes, and I was thinking, how am I gonna like ride, my horse was called Rusty in real life, how am I gonna get on Rusty in ballet pumps? That's just not gonna go well. So it was like, okay, she needs boots, she needs riding boots, and she needs bloomers so she can throw her leg over a horse. So you'll see in the movie that she has half of her skirt hiked up so that she can throw her leg over a horse. Things like that that just kind of like take her from, you know, a cartoon and make her a living, breathing woman who is living her life. Yeah.
You know, Dan, I gotta say, I'm watching the film. By the way, I see like 350 movies a year, and that's not enough. But watching this film, watching your performance as the Beast, the Prince, I really sat back and went, how did they do that? So then I did some research, and I'm seeing how you actually had to play this role twice. Can you talk us through that process?
Yeah, the body, the physical capture of the Beast was done on set with, I guess, what we now call traditional motion capture. You know, I was in a big muscle suit covered in grey lycra on stilts. But our faces were there for each other. I wasn't behind any mask or latex or fur, or there were no cameras dangling down. The facial capture was done separately. And so every 2 weeks or so, we'd go into this.
I think every
about
week, every Friday
10
night.
days or so. It was pretty much every Friday, wasn't it?
Every Friday night.
Every Friday night. Friday night is Mova night. And I would go after a day's filming, and I'd have to shave, which is always tough. And my face would be sprayed with UV dots, about 10,000 dots. And I'd sit in this, what I like to call the Tron cage, which was sort of a UV lights and 27 little cameras. And we'd play all of our scenes again, and Emma would be sitting outside the cage, and I would be inside just, you know, doing anything that I've been doing the previous 2 weeks a week with my face, whether it was eating or sleeping or roaring or waltzing. I would sit there and just do it all, and they'd take that information, take it away, morph it into the Beast, and map it onto the body that I'd puppeteered on the set. So it's an amazing fusion of these technologies, and it's never really been used this extensively before, certainly not for a romantic lead.
Well, for people who are going to be watching the film today around the country in IMAX, yeah. Bill, tell me about the process to expand this movie to the IMAX process, and we need the microphone.
Okay. Yeah, sure. It was, you know, I think directors get nervous sometimes because IMAX means that you're seeing it in a different shape than what you filmed it in. But here, it was kind of amazing. I think of this as being more Beauty and the Beast, you know?
Yeah.
Because we built these massive sets. And take, for example, the ballroom where Emma and Dan do the waltz. That went up in such a huge way, you can't capture it in the traditional 240 format, you know? So actually here, that's a scene, and there are several others where I actually think it's more beautiful in this version, you know? It's just that idea. I have to say, when I started to get into the IMAX print, it was like being, and it had been over a year and a half since we shot it, it was like being on the set again. It came alive in a new way.
You know what else came alive in a new way? You, mister.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. You, yes, Josh. Josh Gad, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! I got to tell you, I mean, I've been watching your stage work, your film work, and just everything I see that you're doing, like you just continue to top yourself. And wait till you see the film today. Is he not amazing, or is he not amazing?
He's like amazing.
He is amazing.
Gaston, like,
Gaston's
I'm not going to say
man.
anything, but yeah.
Okay, but Josh, I mean, really watching, you know, you get, you're drawn to the enthusiasm of the people that you were watching, and you look like you were having an amazing time making this movie.
I wasn't. No, it's the most fun I think I've ever had making a movie. Look, I come from musical theater, you know? Yeah, I mean, ever since Book of Mormon, I've been waiting to do this.
Yeah.
That sounds weird. Ever since Book of Mormon, I've been waiting to do a Disney film. I take that back. No, but I've been waiting to perform on screen. I've been waiting to sing and dance. And being able to do it opposite Luke Evans, who just, I wish he could have been here. He's incredible in this film.
He is.
And, you know, Luke, a lot of people don't know, comes from the same background. He was in the West End. He did Avenue Q, was one of the first things he ever did, which I had no idea until I met him. And then out comes his boisterous voice. So bringing life to this character, and especially bringing to life, again, one of these Howard Ashman, Alan Menken classic songs. Like, that's wish fulfillment for me. That's a dream come true. And Bill Condon has created something that I realized yesterday for the first time. It will be, for many people in this theater, I imagine, many young kids, the first time that they see a new, big, live-action musical on the big screen. Wow. And that is so tremendous, because as a father of 2 little girls, sharing that opportunity with them, giving them a movie like this with one of the greatest role models that I've seen on film. That's all you could ask for. And so I'm thrilled. I'm actually really jealous because I haven't seen the IMAX print, and I really want to stay and watch it.
Right?
I can't. Sadly, I can't. But I will come back and pay money to see it. No, I won't. I will come back and ask IMAX to let me in for free.
Well, we have a question from Ashley on Facebook who asks, Emma, you for an entire generation are Hermione from Harry Potter. But, going off what you said, Josh, a whole generation will now know you, discover you as Belle. So the question is, what does it mean to you to be the physical embodiment of not one, but 2 iconic characters like this?
My mind blows. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it really, really does. I mean, it's hard to know what to say. I just feel really, as you say, like, it's remarkable for an actor to get to play one of their childhood heroines. But to get to play 2 is just absolutely insane. I think what am I going to do now? I'm so screwed. Seriously. I mean, I had moments in this movie. I remember saying this to Bill, actually. We were about to we'd done the dance for the waltz in the ballroom, and I was in the yellow dress. And I was like, shit, I am peaking at 26. There is no moment in my life that will be as beautiful as this. Like, this is the ultimate romantic moment. Like, Dan Stevens is there, ready to waltz with me. I'm wearing the yellow dress. I mean, I was like, where do I go from here? So, no, it's been amazing.
Yay! Dan and Emma and Bill, I want to ask you, the centerpiece of the original film, the moment of truth, the beautiful dance in that dress. I mean, now because of the nature of the way this movie was done, how did you film that scene? And how many times did you have to film the scene? Let's start with you, Dan.
That's interesting. We spent about 3 months learning that dance. So we started on the ground, and then I graduated to the stilts, and we learnt the dance all over again, me 10 inches off the ground. And it's a pretty good way to get to know your co-star, being thrown in to waltz lessons on day 1, especially when your co-star thinks
so much trust on my part.
Break her toes.
Yeah, he had literally steel stilts on. So if we had messed up, which there was a chance that we might do that in a number of takes we did this in, I could lose a toe, I could have broken a foot. It was, and I loved the role reversal of so much of the movie, because usually I'm the one in the heels being like, oh, will you hold my arm? And in this situation, I was like, I've got you, dude. Like, I have you. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere.
But on the day, it was, we'd do probably 2 or 3 takes, and then the suit would get so hot that I would have to be plugged in. They made a special cooling vest, like Formula One racing drivers wear, and around the back of the Beast's butt, there was I guess you call it what do you, a fundament or something? I don't know. An outlet, a pipe was poking out, which they would connect to a box of ice cold water, and my heart rate would be brought down to a sort of humanly safe level, and then we'd go again and do another couple of takes. But
It's essentially like doing a dance, which would make you hot and sweaty anyway, doing like Strictly Come Dancing, but dressed as the Michelin Man. Just like so much padding.
it was so romantic.
It was so romantic. No, it was.
It was.
And I think the thing to notice today when you watch it is that it's not done in a lot of cuts either. You know, they're big, long, sweeping shots. They could have performed this on the stage. We would do the entire number. And it was really an unbelievable, remarkable thing to watch, and very rare these days. Yeah.
Oh, look at Bill giving us so much credit. He made us look good. He makes us look good.
You know, I want to ask you, Emma, too. I realized when I was watching the film on Thursday, yeah, I saw it. So I'm sitting there watching the movie, and that centerpiece moment in the film, it made me think, especially for you, because as a 6-year-old who wrote on your Facebook page when you got cast in the role, this is a direct quote, "My 6-year-old self is on the ceiling, heart bursting." So, at that moment, when you put on that dress and you looked in the mirror, what went through your mind?
Oh, abstract terror and fear. I was like, you know, it's like one thing not wanting to mess this up for audiences for whom this movie is beloved, but not wanting to mess it up for yourself, for your younger self. That's kind of like the ultimate, you know, I was like, yeah, you just so want to get it right. And yeah, I would be lying to you if I looked in the mirror and I was like, I look great. I was like, is it okay? Like, you know, and that's my personality anyway. I'm slightly neurotic.
You look beautiful.
Yeah, but the dance was fun, and we all danced to Pharrell Happy when we got it right afterwards. So that was fun.
Josh, be our guest.
Thank you, I will.
Thank you. Filming that scene.
I will tell you, I'm not in that scene, but I imagine if I were, that would have been the highlight of my shoot.
Well, that brings me to another question. The new music and the old music.
Yes.
What was the challenge to make the old and the new complement each other?
Well, there wasn't any challenge because Alan Menken was writing both, right? So I sat there. I pitched him the first song, the first new song that I was hoping that we would have, and he ran over to the piano and he started to play something very similar to what's in the movie. And my heart melted because suddenly there's a new tune from Beauty and the Beast that sounds of a piece with the rest of it. You know, he has it in his fingers, in his bones, you know, the sound of this show, you know, and the fact that after 20 years he can jump right back in and do it is remarkable.
That was remarkable because it really does complement. Even though as many times as you've seen the original film, when you watch it here today, it's just going to all feel totally complete. And we have a question from Kel on Facebook who asks, for all of you, how difficult was the movie-making process, knowing, starting with you, Bill, how many people really cherish the original film?
Right. It's you know, that's always, it's a double-edged sword. The great thing is, as a filmmaker, to know that there are people out there who love this so much waiting on the other end. That's incredible, you know, because often you're afraid you're going to make a movie and nobody's going to see it, you know. But the other side of it is I think everybody has their version of this movie in their head, you know. So at a certain point, I could only count on my own sense of how much I love the original movie, and when we were crossing a line, when anything felt like it was betraying somehow the spirit of it, or what it meant or anything. And then, as I said, taking that and turning it into something our own and something new.
Well, when you finally got a chance, Emma, when you finally got a chance after making the film to watch it on the big screen for the first time, what was that moment like for you?
I try to explain what it's like to other people to watch yourself on screen by using the example of, do you ever hear your phone on an answer phone machine and you're caught off guard and you're like, do I sound like that? Is that really what I sound like? And it's like that, but like times 1,000 when you see yourself on screen. And especially, this was the first time I had ever sung in a movie before. And this character meant the world to me. So, you know, it was like, I also talk about watching the early Harry Potter movies, and I say that I would like sit in a chair and kind of twist myself into a pretzel, like, because every scene you're watching, you're like, is it gonna be, oh, it is, oh, it's good, oh, okay, great, you know, and like, I pretzeled myself, that's what it was like. I was fully pretzeled. But, you know, the other fun thing about working on movies like this that have fantasy and magical elements is that it's kind of this huge surprise, because when you work on a normal movie, you know, you kind of have a pretty good idea or a pretty good sense of what you're going to watch when it's finished, because you were there and you saw it. When you work on something like this, it's just like this kind of magical experience, because things that were a green screen, or things that were just a dot, or things that were, you know, an LED light, are suddenly these magical characters. And so you kind of feel like an audience member, because so much is a surprise, which is kind of wonderful.
Especially for you, Dan, to see it, because you know.
I mean, the first cut I saw of this movie, there was no Beast completed at all. I was still in the Lycra suit on the stilts, and it took all of my imagination, you know, and gripping Bill's arm very tightly, I think, to you know, to see what this was going to be. And it's been 18 months, I suppose, and we've watched cuts over the months, and each time it comes in, there's a bit more of the Beast there, a bit more of the Beast there, and it's come on and come on. But I didn't get to see the finished, 100% finished Beast until last week.
Wow.
And it's amazing to see it emerge from the digital sphere, you know, and yet retain those, you know, the sort of elements that we had in performance. It's an extraordinary technology.
You know, Bill, I want to ask about the scope of the sets at tell us about how many sets there were. And,
Sure. You know, we took over all of Shepperton Studios, so that, for example, you'll see Kevin Kline walk into the castle, and there's the entryway. He goes all the way over to the fireplace, then he goes to the ballroom. That was all one set, and then you could walk through the ballroom onto the terrace. I think it would take 5 minutes to walk from one end of the castle to the other. We built an entire village, you know. The whole point of that was that in a movie where you knew there would be a digital Beast and digital characters, I thought it was important that everything be as real as it could possibly be, because I do feel that, I know for myself as an audience member, you can feel the difference, you know? So we wanted to keep the digital as limited as possible in the movie.
well, for those of you, ladies and gentlemen, who are watching in theaters around the country, stay in your seats and prepare for Disney's Beauty and the Beast in IMAX theaters. But wait, for those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, stay tuned for a special clip. And right now, join me in thanking Bill Condon, Dan Stevens, Emma Watson, and Josh Gad. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.